Hi, lovely and darling viewers. It's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm doing another Top 5 Wednesday. As always, the Goodreads group is in the description below, and this week's topic is the books you feel differently about. So, sometimes since the first time we've read this book, we've changed our opinion about it, either because we reread it and understand it differently, or because we've just had time to think about it or whatever. I have Richard II by William Shakespeare. This is one of his history plays. And the first time I read this was for a college Shakespeare class, and I don't remember reading it. The only way I remember that I read this book is because there are notes in the margins in my own handwriting. So I must have read it. So I really had kind of no opinion about this play the first time I read it. And I have reread it this year because the Cleveland Shakespeare Festival was putting it on. And between rereading it this time, having seen it as part of the Hollow Crown miniseries, and having watched it performed live, I definitely appreciate this play now, and I enjoy it. It's not like my favorite Shakespeare play. Like, I'm definitely all for the comedies, but I appreciate this play in a completely different way than not remembering it at all. So this one's for the better. Next I have Xenocide by Orson Scott Card. This is one of the Ender's Games books. And I love the first book, Ender's Game. I read it in high school and I tried to read the whole series, and I got stuck when I got to this third book, Xenocide. Like, somewhere along the line I just stopped caring about the plot. The characters weren't that much fun in this one. Like, I could not get through this book. And I still haven't technically reread this book, but I have read the graphic novels that Marvel did, and I appreciate the plot of this one and the whole series a lot more now that I've had a chance to get through, the basics of what's happening, and I definitely think the graphic novels work a lot better for me personally. So I went from not liking Xenocide to being indifferent to slightly liking it, considering I haven't reread it. At number 3, I have Twilight by Stephanie Meyer, and the entire series. When I first read it, I was in high school, college, and totally got obsessed with these books. I love the vampires and Edward. I especially love his sister Alice. Is awesome. And I don't know, I liked the way the vampires worked, I guess. Bella's always kind of been the weak link in this series for me, and as I've gotten older, my patience with Bella has gotten even less. So I went from really liking this book to kind of not liking it at all. At number 2, I have the Left Behind series by Tim LaHaye and Jerry B. Jenkins, and I used to own these books, but now I no longer do, which should probably tell you which way my feelings went on this. This is another series that I was obsessed with in high school and was really into. It's Christian fiction. It's centered around the rapture and the end times. And in this book, all the believers and all the children who are too young to make an informed decision for themselves have vanished. God has come and taken them, and we're left with all the unbelievers. And they get to fight the Antichrist. And it's really interesting in this kind of dystopian way. But as I've gotten older and as I've studied the book of Revelations more, I'm kind of that's not what Revelation says is going to happen. And so my interest in that series kind of dwindled, and I just don't care. I also don't really remember the characters much anymore. It's been so long. So I went from passionately loving the series to just, no, not really. I don't think I'm going to go back and finish it now or anything. It's just Left Behind and I are done. And the number 1 book that I have changed in my opinion about is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. When I first read this book, I was in middle school, and I hated it. And I couldn't tell you why I hated it at the time, but I really did not like Pride and Prejudice. I had read Little Women, and I had read Emma and Mansfield Park. So I was reading. It's not the way it's written; it's the actual book itself. I just didn't like it. And it wasn't until I was watching one of the movies in high school that I realized I didn't like it because they're really mean to Darcy, especially in the first part of the book. And the character in Pride and Prejudice that I am the most is Darcy. So once I could pinpoint why I didn't like this book, I was able to go through and reread it and appreciate it more. And it does help that Darcy gets his happy ending. So, yes, I went from hating this book to really, really loving it. I still like Emma and Mansfield Park more, so it's not like my favorite Jane Austen novel, but it is definitely up there in one of my favorite books ever. So, I love Pride and Prejudice now. Okay, so there are my top 5 books and series that I have changed my opinions about, that I feel differently about now. Let me know in the comments below if you have any books or series that you have also changed your opinions about, or if you read any of these books, what you thought of them. And yeah. Peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.